All right, y'all. What's good? What's good? What's good? We're going to give it time for people to come in. We're going to get into the collective reading for this full moon in Aries, September 29th, 2023. And I believe it's at like 5:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So convert that to your time. What's good? What's good, Be More? What's up, Cicely? I said it right this time. So I'm going to give it some time for people to come in. This energy is going to be really intense. All right. But overall, the energy going into I was going to say eclipse. It's not an eclipse. But we are entering eclipse season. This is actually going to be the last full moon before the eclipses in October. Now, with that being said, this full moon is going to have energies to pay attention to that can be reflective during eclipse season, because it being a full moon, it's going to illuminate that which needs to be illuminated, and it's in Aries. Aries is in the North Node right now. So, oh, my nose is itching. So if y'all see me itching, you already know. So with Aries being in the North Node, this energy means this is where, as a collective, as a whole, all of our energies are kind of being influenced or directed towards that direction, right? Towards the north. However, North Node energy can be intense. It can be uncomfortable, right? South Node is usually what we're used to. In some cases is what you need to let go of. And in some cases is aspects of yourself that you can tap into to utilize for you to move forward with towards your North Node. Everybody's chart is different, so we're not going to necessarily go there. But with the sun being in Libra, Libra is in the South Node right now. And the moon, right, that's what makes it a full moon, being in Aries in its full luminescence, that is working the North and South nodes together to illuminate what we need to allow ourselves to break out of our uncomfortability, right? Because like I said, the North Node can be a little bit uncomfortable. As many of y'all may have already experienced, y'all may have had to experience during all these retrogrades, you know, the loss of a loved one. Y'all may have been grieving, whether it's the loss of a loved one, meaning you had to cut ties with some friends, or maybe perhaps you ended a relationship, or someone transitioned into the spirit realm, right? In all cases, my condolences to you, because that is not easy, right? In other cases, you know, it could, or even work, right? Whatever the case may be. This energy, though, for this week is a bit more optimistic. It's a bit more clarity that's coming to the forefront for us. To know where you may have felt stagnant in the last few weeks, you're gonna gain more revelations. Definitely a great time for journaling, a great time to be writing out your goals and what it is that you want to work on. But beyond all of that, a great time for shadow work. Not only is the energy going to be a little bit more hopeful, more optimistic, and more clear in what it is that we maybe want to do or need to do to move forward, but the energy is going to be intense and a bit of an activator for the eclipse seasons. So a lot of you may feel lethargic, okay? You may feel tired, and not tired and lethargic are not the same, which is why they're different words, right? You may be feeling sleepy. You may be feeling like your energy is pacing itself between highs and like lows, and that's okay. Eclipse seasons are known to be very intense because they activate faded moments in our lives. And with Aries can be a bit foolish, a bit reckless, but what I feel like this energy is saying is allow yourself to take a risk into something new that's pertaining to your goals, right? Pertaining to what it is that you want to discover about yourself, what it is that you want to move forward with. If it's a career, maybe you felt like you wasn't good enough, definitely start treating yourself like you're good enough. They were saying something about appearance also, right? So like not everything that shines or glitters is gold, right? But knowing how to be able to be naked with your truth, and also having the ability to see through the appearances of others, to see the energy for what it is. And so there's also going to be revelations in that as well. For some of you during these retrograde seasons, you may have experienced some injuries. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the ruler of like sharp objects, right? Iron, right? So surgeries, inflammation, separation. So this energy can cause for some of you, maybe some of you are, had experienced separation anxiety from a loved one or something like that, or some sort of separation anxiety to some sort of circumstance. This, or it could just be anxiety as a whole. Yeah, I need to breathe. Give me a moment. It's so much information. Okay. I'm also hearing that if some of you have felt like you needed to shield yourself or protect yourself, your energy, you can work with hematite. Okay, hematite or bloodstone, the green blood, like African bloodstone, which if I'm not mistaken is like a jasper or something like that. But hematite in itself, okay. Definitely some of you are going to feel the need to do some protection work. Excuse me. But there's going to be a lot of revelations. This could be, okay, protecting your boundaries, your healthy boundaries. Connecting with your prayers, okay? And, definitely journaling. You know how there's the saying, the tongue is mightier than the sword, and the pen is mightier than the sword. Believing yourself, protecting your vision as well, protecting your goals, protecting your goals from distractions, from procrastination, protecting your goals from outside influences, okay? This could be that perhaps, there was a certain project that you want to work on, or you have been working on, and it's not for you to tell everyone what it is until your process is more moving forward. Hey Mom, I see that you requested to go live, but I'm doing the collective readings right now, so I'll just call you after. Everyone, yes, I'm talking to my mom. Oh, and because it has to do with inflammation also, if any of you are dealing with any form of inflammation in the body, this is a great time to kind of take the risk into making certain sacrifices that's going to be more healthy for your body. For some of you, I mentioned injuries or surgeries. So maybe some of you had dealt with some surgeries in the past few weeks. And you're gonna go through like a healing process. They're saying be very careful during this like next week or so, coming to eclipse season, so that you don't hurt yourself. So take time to heal, be gentle with yourself. I would say maybe, you know, drinking some turmeric tea, add some black pepper to activate the anti-inflammatory properties. I would say ashwagandha is coming up. I would say do your research at for ashwagandha. And valerian, I'm not sure valerian root is for inflammation, but I'm hearing for anxiety, or for those of you that may have trouble sleeping. Okay, maybe working with some valerian root. I'm going to get into the cards in just a moment. I'm just still getting some of this information. So definitely do some body work. I know that's a message I've been getting. And because Mars is the ruler of with irons as well, this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get into like some sort of an accident or something like that. This could also be that perhaps, you know, maybe start lifting some weights, or you're gonna do some personal training with your body, physical therapy, right? If for those of you that was injured in the last few weeks, find yourself going at a gentle pace. Don't overwork yourself. They're saying you want to be gentle during this eclipse season. Peace, God. During this eclipse season, with Mars being the ruler of Aries and that being in the North Node. For some of you, I'm also hearing a lot of agitation and frustration, and there's a strong need to do a lot of inner work for emotional intelligence, for emotional regulation. So one thing I can say is I have grown keen to identify what emotions I'm feeling, but there's still some emotions that I'm working on managing, right? I have been known to have a lot of like mood swings and be very sensitive to energies and emotional. And so I got to the space where I could identify, oh, wait a minute, this is someone else's, or this is mine's. And even if it is someone else's, a part of my body has some sort of resonance and agreement to even connect with that energy, whether it's to transmute it, to transform it, right, to regulate it. Whatever the case may be, identifying the emotion is not always enough. Yes, it's a start. So for those of you that are beginning your process in identifying your emotions, that's a great start. Journal that down. And all the journaling, they're definitely speaking to me too. You know, I felt very strongly like I need to journal more. So journal your emotions, but also taking the time. And also I am putting together a workshop soon on emotional intelligence and like how to regulate. And we're going to have homework. It's going to be a whole spiel. So neither here nor there. Just for those of you that's really feeling like you've been really emotional, really sensitive at this time, definitely take time to connect with your emotions. Give your emotion a name if you need to, but also know that you are not the identity of that emotion, okay? You are beyond the identities of all things, right? So just putting that out there. Taking a risk into something new is what I was talking about. Oh, they kind of want to go backtrack. I'm sorry if I'm all over the place, but they kind of want to go backtrack on the inflammation. You may experience, they're saying it wasn't just during the retrograde. That was just what's the word? Like a preview. Thank you. A preview of these energies. So be mindful. Okay, if you know that you've been dealing with inflammation, you may find yourself feeling more inflammation in your body, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's another like it could be spiritual. It could be that you're probably spiritually holding on to certain things. It could be behavioral. It could be emotional. It could be physical. So you may or may not you know, when you go to the doctor, you may or may not find a diagnosis for it, is what they're saying, because some of these things is not about any diagnosis, but it's about your patterns. So really taking the time to listen to what your body is saying, because Aries is also the head, right? The Godhead in a sense, but it's the body, right? The head of the body. So, you know, for some of you, this is going to be mirror magic. And I also have the dark mirrors here, oracle. So I'm going to get into that in a moment as well. You know, you might want to, if you haven't already ever done like a colonics, an enema, you know, flush out your system, get into some sort of a detox, right? I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life. You take what resonates, you leave the rest behind, all right, y'all? If you're going to eat whatever you want to eat, they're saying at least give your body some time to digest and be gentle with yourself. So maybe limit your proportions in a certain or even maybe do some body work or exercise while you're, you know, while you're doing what you're doing. The balance, okay? Balance things out. You could either soak your feet or your body in like baking soda and vinegar and lemons to do like a full body flush, a full body detox. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of train tracks. For some of you, this is like your train of thoughts. Either you haven't been sleeping much at night because you've been overthinking with your train of thoughts. For some of you, this is actually taking a trip or a journey somewhere, and maybe instead of flying, you decide to take the train, or this could just be jumping into a different timeline, okay? Timelines was another thing that was saying, you know, to be mindful of as well. All right, so I'm going to just start getting into the cards, because I feel like I don't want to keep sounding redundant. And I'm going to just do an overall general. I was going to do each and every individual sign, but I don't think we're going to have enough time for all of that. So I want to make sure that everyone be able to get their message. We'll see here. We'll see. All right. So I will do it elementals, all right? And I'm gonna start with the fire signs. That's how I'm feeling, so that's how I'm gonna do it. And you know, fire signs, usually when I do elementals, I go into the element as a whole, as a collective, and then I do the each individuals. I'm gonna only do the elemental, and y'all take what resonates for you. All right, so fire signs is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Talk about fire signs, right? Y'all in y'all element with the King of Wands here, the King of Wands. So some of y'all are actually being called to like take a risk and go into like leadership here. There could be some stuff with leadership that you're gonna see a shift on a collective level. Don't get scared. All right, some of y'all are being called to action. That's why. So like your spirit, your soul was built here to do, you know, to be a leader, and you're being called to leadership. If you need to take time to rest during this call to leadership, while you are resting, there are ways to set yourself up in ways where things are, I guess, still being productive or moving forward while you kind of rest. So maybe putting some sort of a like structure or a plan or something because other things around may be falling apart, but it's actually falling in place is what they're saying. Things aren't falling apart, they're falling in place. Justice here, the Justice card. All right, didn't I say they're not falling apart? They're falling in place. This is a lot of balance here, all right? If there was any injustices that was done, things are going to now move into your favor. You hear the lightning? Yeah. There may have been, you know, you may have been in a space of fighting with your ego, fighting with other people's egos, maybe fighting with other people's opinions of what your life should look like. Appearances came out earlier, right? And so I feel like this is about triumph over lies. So allowing yourself to be in your true authenticity here, okay, is bringing you balance back into your life. Is bringing you back into alignment with your soul's contracts. Is bringing you back into connection with opportunities here. And not really allowing your fears to stop you, but being cognizant is the word I want to say of the signs that have been delivered to you. For some of you, this is like some awareness. If you are Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo here, there could have been, let me see here, let me get a little bit more clarity, please. What is this Justice? What is this Justice card here? It's more the Five of Swords. Okay, yes, so getting out of your own way. It could have been that you were making excuses, or you had some things, and yeah, you're in your power. You're definitely a leader, but you have some things kind of keeping you a little bit afraid of making certain decisions here. Yeah, and you're going to be putting these decisions to rest. It's the Four of Swords here. You're going to be putting your fears to rest. So this may be, and look at that, I said putting your fears to rest. You're being called to a major transformation. This is going to be really uncomfortable for those of you, if you are a fire sign and you haven't been in a space of standing in your own power and your own leadership. Life may be feeling really uncomfortable for you because you're fighting with your own ego of how you think your life should be looking. Okay, you're being called into meditation. You're being by being present, you have the ability to move forward, is what they're saying. Because sometimes you think that the ways that you were moving is the ways that you needed to move forward. However, that may not have been serving you as in the ways that it needed to. So you may be tired. Maybe it's a mental rest. Maybe it's an emotional rest. But I'm hearing like shadow work, meditation, bringing yourself back into balance. All right. Maybe it's your environment. Okay. You could have been around a toxic environment and it's time to like clear yourself from that environment so that you can really be on that timeline shift that you needed to be in. You're gonna go through a major transformation, not just during this full moon, but for the next few weeks. So just be mindful if that sounds like it's your story. All right. This is the Four of Swords, but we also have Santa Muerte here with the Death card in the bottom of the deck here. All right. So for every, closed doors, many doors open for you. For every no is many yeses, right? Like God's rejection is God's redirection. All right. So I kind of feel like some of you fire signs are really being pushed to a redirection to where you really belong, to where you really, and you're seeing that maybe you was like, yo, like, why am I? And it's going to be a space of celebration here, okay? You're going to celebrate your ancestors. It's like you're going to reconcile with yourself. You're going to reconcile with your mind, your body, your spirit. You're going to come into that balance here, all right? There is ancestral support. Some of you are natural psychics and natural mediums, and they've been talking to you. And I think maybe you're going to come into the realization that you're going to be able to hear them more. You're going to trust them more. You're going to be trusting yourself more as well. So let me get here. What's in the shadows with these dark mirrors, right? What is it that they really got to work on here? Alone in the world. Okay, so in the bottom of the deck is colorless angel with the number 10, another transformative number. But we're going to go here with the number 6, and we're going to go with alone in the world. And she's naked, and the clothes is on the side. Didn't I mention about being naked in your authenticity, being naked in your truth, not being caught up with the appearance of life? Not everything that shines is gold. You know, social media has a way of dressing things up to where people's lives look perfect. People's lives look like they're happy, you know, and maybe you've been putting in a facade or something like that to where, you know, people think that you're happy, or people think that, you know, your life is wow, it's amazing, and you know, you're coming to a space of unlayering, undressing, right? Peace. So really being naked in your authenticity. I also feel like this is bringing you some balance with the divine mother energy, divine feminine energies. Also, you may find yourself, they're saying being mindful, right? Because some of you are being called, because you're being called into meditation, you might find yourself needing to be more in the dark, or sleeping in a dark room, or electronics is what I'm hearing. Like maybe getting the electronics out of your room and putting them in another room. You know, maybe just taking a break from electronics or something like that is what I'm hearing for some of you. Not everyone. You're gonna know if this resonates for you with that. But also, with the darkness thing, for some of you, you may have been feeling depressed, and you're feeling like you're at a standstill. You feel like you're in a fork in the road, and you're trying to figure out your next moves. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some love. Give yourself some words of power, words of hekawu. Give yourself thanks. Give God thanks. Give your spiritual court, your spiritual team thanks for working things out in your favor that you may not even know about. Okay? For them to reveal onto you what you need to know. For you having the eyes of God, of seeing the truth for what it is. For having the ability to listen to the unheard. Listen to even the language that's not being verbally spoken. Give thanks for those abilities. Because like I said, some of you here are mediums. Some of you here are psychic. Not all of you, right? Some of you, this is about a career change, and you're like, you know, we were talking about mourning also, and grieving. This is coming back to me now. So some of you, maybe you were releasing some anxiety, feeling rejected, feeling abandoned, dealing with abandonment issues. And maybe, you know, some of you, maybe you were in anger, or you were in fear, and you was projecting that out to other people, as opposed to really dealing with your internal emotions when it comes down to abandonment, to rejection, to neglection, etc. All right. And so really being naked with yourself and your truth. This could have been that maybe this was connected to like your mother or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be, okay? But I do feel divine feminine energy trying to bring you some balance in your life as well. They're saying also, if you're watching this, I kind of feel like this is for everyone, but I am talking about fire signs. It's just the way that is coming to me, okay? If you know that you have been doing right by your side, by yourself, and by others, and there may have been a situation or people that was doing you wrong, they're saying relax, like sit back, relax, just keep, you know, be in meditation, be still in a sense, because justice is gonna be served, and the truth is going to be revealed onto you, and you're going to celebrate. You're going to, and for some of you, it's going to be revealed onto you. And for some of you, it may not necessarily be revealed, but you're going to feel an energetic shift of kind of like subconsciously or even consciously knowing that it's time to celebrate yourself. Okay. So if you've been feeling like maybe people's talking about you, or, you know, just, you know, people been moving funny style or something, let bygones be bygones, okay? Be in your authenticity, be in your truth. This is such a beautiful journey. So you might feel tired. This is a time to take it easy. Yes, focus on your goals. But if you're tired, give your body rest. If your body is stressed, right, there's a lot of stress here. There's a need to calm the heart is what I'm feeling also. Calm the heart, maybe do some breathing exercises. Slow down. I'm also feeling guided to read the Alone in the World, so I'm going to. Hello everyone that's coming in. So the third quarter phase and the stage is acceptance, right? I feel like this is about accepting who you are. In solitude, I stand. In solitude, I may shine. Yo, I can't make this shit the fuck up. All right? We have the Four of Swords. They said get into meditation. Let me tell you before I keep reading. Solitude. If you're a person that's been feeling really depressed, okay, it's okay to ask for help. But you have to be willing to help yourself as well. And you have to be open to accepting the help. And also be honest with yourself. I feel like this is about being honest with your emotions and your truth and where you're at, regardless if you actually like what your body is telling you, regardless if you like the circumstances around you or not. Sometimes we got to go through that uncomfortability first to get to the space of happiness again, right? And happiness is a choice, and it's an inside job, and nobody can do that for us, no matter how they dress it, right? We was talking about appearance here. This is very deep. Yeah, let me just keep reading. Under the morning lights, in a closed and silent court, paved with stones, laced by trees, a beautiful woman sits naked on a precious bench. Many blankets or drapes are around her, in the color red and white, like discarded wings. So red and white may be colors that you may be drawn to during this time as well for the full moon. All right. Waiting for something to going dark. The sentence. I made my home a cloister, my heart a chalice for the faintest breeze, and yet I stand alone. Waiting for someone to come back, waiting for something to come back. When we parted ways, we promised to each other, I will wait for you and I will come back. We may have used different words like it's just for a few months, or a sharper pen like I don't need you. Still, we are waiting. Mind has lost hope. Body has lost memory, but our hearts is still incomplete. In the shrine, it is shrined into a blessed feeling of longing and desired, innocence and hope, but it is also entombed into a well of solitude and distance. It is built walls to stand the passage of times, and the walls kept out everything. Will the prince come, or has the world gone silent while we waited? Waiting is a transition. It has a beginning and it has an end. Waiting is the night. Morning brings the sun of a new day. Like I said, for some of you, you may have been in a space where you were grieving. You may have been in a space, and nobody can tell you how long you should be grieving for. Nobody can tell you, they can help you, they can give you tips, but everybody's healing process is different, and there's a difference between knowing when you're staying in a place too long and when it's time to move. And I feel like for some of you, you may have not fully taken the time to grieve. Maybe you were keeping yourself busy, keeping your mind busy, keeping your mind distracted because you were fighting against what it is that you were really feeling. You were distracting yourself. You were distracting yourself from what is happening internal. You was distracting yourself with the external world so that you wouldn't have to deal with the internal world. And now you're being called to go within to really deal with that. Because the longer you wait to deal with it, the bigger the emotion feels rejected, feels alone, feels neglected, and then the more empty you feel, the more you repel what it is that you actually want to attract. Okay. For some of you, this is about patience during your waiting process, right? Because it's not just about waiting, but it's about trusting that your manifestations is going to come into fruition. Get yourself right and everything else will come into place, okay? This is where the balance is. Oh, goodness. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go into, I'm hearing water signs. So fire signs, that was your reading. If you would like a more personal, in-depth reading, you can reach out to me and we can schedule that for you. Wow, that is so moving. I hope that made sense too. And like I said, my condolences to you all. Take your time. Don't be hard on yourself. If you find yourself needing to be, alone. Oh, that's what I was going to say. That solitude makes you powerful as well. And one of the things that is said is, I don't need you. There comes a point in time where, yes, solitude teaches you that everything you have and need is within. Yes. But it's okay to socialize with others as well. We also need that. There's an aspect of our learning that happens with people, right? Even no matter how much yoga you do in solitude, there comes a point in time when, in order for you to learn more, you got to learn that by connecting with others. Because how are you going to know that what you learned is really working if you don't apply it to the outside, with outside people too? But there comes a point in time when you're externalizing everything and you're distracted by everything outside of you, or maybe the appearance of your practice, right? It could also be like spiritual ego for some of you, because I mentioned the ego earlier and I didn't think spiritual ego. For some of you, it could be spiritual ego maybe got the best of you, and it's like, calm down, balance yourself, and get back to center, get back to the truth. Are you getting ahead of yourself? Are you maybe saying things or doing things that isn't right? But you're wanting to like manipulate it because of leadership. I also feel like, because we started off with that and the fire signs and it being a general reading as well, this could be that even like actual spiritual leaders or actual leaders of the world is going to like really get G-checked with the law as well. We're going to continue to see that. We're going to continue to see that in Revelations, and in a sense where they have been hurting people or something like that, as opposed to helping the people. And that we're gonna see some leaders either they're gonna be fired from their positions, they're going to be demoted from their positions, or they may even transition, like die. And I'm not, you know, saying, oh, I'm killing, you know, whatever, but it is what it is. I'm just a messenger. Yes. So we're going to get into water signs now. Is kind of what I'm feeling. So if you are a water sign, take what resonates. I'm going to go into air next, okay? But I'm going to do water first. And then earth. So, because that's the order that's coming to me. Water. Oh, goodness. You know, before I get into waters real quick, fire signs, you know, what's funny is, you know, we call the water signs really emotional. But fire signs can be extremely emotional, and it just is displayed as passion. As passion, passionate beings. If you found yourself in a space of isolation, well, I'm still going back because I guess that's what we're doing. If you found yourself in a space of isolation, going back to the I don't need you, and you may have put yourself in isolation, be mindful of how that is going for your growth. Is that helping you or is that hindering you? Right? Because you may be very passionate about what it is that you want to go, but you might be redirected because the appearance of what you thought something was supposed to look like is a little bit different, and it's uncomfortable for you, but it's part of your calling. Or this could be, again, for you to maybe open up. But you have to do the shadow work. I'm hearing this for all the fire signs, regardless of what. There's some deep internal meditative messages that wants to come through during your shadow work, during your connections of emotional regulations, right? For your emotional intelligence. And this is also gonna help you step into that power of leadership, because you are a natural born leader. All right, so just putting that out there. And also going back to the beginning, with you being called into that space of leadership, right? The call of action, I mentioned call of action earlier, and they're just kind of bringing me full circle with that. The call of action is not going to happen till after the solitude period of you coming into the realization of how to manage your emotions and knowing what you have to do next. So when you come into that space of balance, and that's going to be in the wood that fires up your confidence, okay? So take that how that resonates. All right, water signs, let's get into it. I'm telling you, I said fire signs, and the first card that came out was the King of Wands, right? We get into water. First card that comes up is a water card, is a cup, 7 of cups. 7 of cups. Let's see here. Are y'all confused, or y'all just have too many options, or a little bit of both? I feel like it's a little bit of both. Water signs, it feels like you are a little bit all over the place. It feels like you are a little bit all over the place. You're trying to figure out, it's like mood swings is what I'm feeling. Like if you are an empath, there's definitely a call to do some like cord cutting. There's a strong need for you to be mindful of your words if you're super emotional. Okay. I do see here in the bottom of the deck is the Knight of Cups. All right. the Knights of Cups. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But you're really intellectual. You're really smart, okay? There's a lot of wisdom that's going to come through, but we have the Tower card here as well. So water signs is Scorpio, and this is definitely, you know, Pluto energy, Mars energy, Pluto energy with the Tower here, okay? It's Pisces, it's Cancer, okay? So we have the Seven of Cups, we have the Nine of Pentacles, we have the Tower card, we have the King of Swords, and then in the bottom of the deck, we had the Knight of Cups. Hi, baby. Be mindful. What I'm feeling here with the Nine of Pentacles, this is a lot of opportunities, okay? Maybe there was some ideas that you was thinking about doing and tapping into, that you was trying to figure out, why isn't this working for me? Why isn't this working for me? And you was getting very logical about things. But even as you was getting logical, that logic actually turned into like emotional intelligence by the breakdown. You were getting breakthroughs, all right? You've come to spaces of like learning to love yourself. You come to spaces of like learning to admire others and being able to open yourself up to opportunities, okay? And this is not just love offers, but for some of you it could be. But what I'm feeling strongly is like you were looking for opportunities to expand your life or better your life, but you had to go through this Tower moment. I actually want to get a little bit more clarity on this Tower moment. For some of you, this could be that you were doing some healing with your father, all right, or a father figure, or masculine. This could have also been that maybe some of you either connected with a trickster spirit, or you are the trickster spirit. You could be a little bit manipulative, and you're learning your lesson about your immaturities and the manipulations and the mental play, because I also feel a strong telepathy energy, not just an empathic energy, but a telepathic energy as well. So you could possibly have these abilities, all right? And if I'm saying this and you don't know you have these abilities, everybody kind of has these abilities to a certain extent, but I feel like this individual that I'm speaking about itself, they know that they have these abilities. This is not something questionable. You're not going to question it. You're going to know. So if you were feeling like you had a lot of options, or you were feeling conflicted or confused about what to do with your life, where you want to go, what you want to do, right? Yeah, with the Ten of Swords here. With the Ten of Swords here, you probably had like, you know, mental stuff that you were working through. This could have also been just like, you know, maybe there was some betrayals and some, you know, like you had to learn to heal through certain betrayals or certain connections that you really held meaningful to you. This could have also been with family here, all right? This could be with friends or close people is what I'm feeling. I know this is a little bit intense, and all of this is just like, so give me a moment, because I don't know if y'all heard that. Like my whole voice was like slurred for a moment. There's a need to walk away from life as you once knew it, is what I want to say. There may have been a fear of making it on your own or doing it on your own or something like that. There may have been some promises you made to yourself that you kind of self-sabotaged or betrayed yourself with and didn't fall through with, and you kind of reflecting back on that and trying to see if it's in alignment with you. I kind of feel like it wasn't even in your alignment to begin with. for some of you. For some of you, you're going to find yourself where you was confused with, or if you had many options, a lot of options, you had did a prayer for clarity and to give you the option that was going to really bring, that was for you to move through the threshold that's in alignment with your highest good. Right? Because you no longer want to be scattered. You was probably scattered minded. You was probably scattered in your energy because you was helping a lot of other people and you didn't know how to maybe help yourself. And you really come into a space of like, what do I do for real? What is the option best ready and available for me? And you did a certain prayer or a certain spell or incantation that was directly to bring forth the opportunity that's going to serve your highest good. So you go from 7 cups to really holding down 1 cup and focusing on that 1 cup. But it comes with a tower moment. It comes with that internal, like what you thought you was in alignment with wasn't your alignment. And that's gonna be a hard truth. And maybe somebody told you the hard truth. But you know, it's like you going confidently with this offer. It's gonna be like the only one out of all those options that you had, that's gonna be the only offer that you either feel compelled to take, or the only offer that is consistently coming in your face for you to take. You understand what I'm saying? While the other ones kind of wither away or the waters run dry, this one just keeps overflowing and runneth over into your world. I think there was a need to like walk away either from some spiritual belief or religious belief. I'm sorry. Some religious belief. This could have been some social conditionings. This could have been also your environment, or like maybe, you know, maybe for some of you, this could have been like, you know, you learning to live on your own or move on your own. I do see movement here. There's a lot of immaturity here though still, or not immature. Yeah, okay. So I'm saying immaturity, but they want to say youthful or fresh energy. Okay. So let's see here what's in the shadow, what's in the dark mirror for them to like clear out. What is part of the energy that they got to leave behind? What is part of the energy in the shadows that... There we go. Wow, y'all got 2 cards, all right? Peaceful amongst thorns. Oh, I love that. So the betrayal came up, and this is very interesting. The number 26, right? It breaks down to an 8, which is to destroy and rebuild. However, the number 26, I also learned, has an energy where people can misunderstand you, and it also has an energy where because people will misunderstand you, there has been certain betrayals that you had to go through and had to heal through. All right. The other energy is hiding your true self with the number 14. All right, so that's interesting. That energy kind of came through with the fire signs as well. What's up, Ray? But what I like here is like the balance, right, of the blue and the red here and the black and the white. Hiding your true self. What I'm feeling here, I mentioned about a trickster energy also with this water sign here. You could be connected to some sort of like mercurial energies as well. And so because of this, like needing to be mindful, or even like moving forward into a certain realm, and you know, making sure you know how to distinguish between what is real and what is an illusion, because I was talking about mental stuff. So not getting caught up in I don't like to use these words, but like almost like knowing the difference between what is real and what's like a hallucination, even though certain like, you know, not to take away from your imagination, not to take away from your visions, right? Because there's a difference between like a prophetic vision versus like a hallucination that becomes a projection or something. And so maybe doing some healing. I mentioned cord cutting earlier. I think I did, for the water signs as well. This could be cord cutting. This could be an aura cleansing. Maybe you were feeling like you needed to cleanse your aura. All right, to kind of get back to your true self. I did, okay. I also mentioned empath. So if you are an empath and you were like connecting with a lot of other people's energies, and they were beginning to feeling like your own energy as well, clearing your energy to get back to your true self, because those other emotions or thought forms or processes or whatever, like the hurt, the pain, the betrayals, the neglect, like all of those things may not even be yours, but you may be carrying onto those energies, either to transmute it or transform it. All right, and so getting back into your self-love and knowing what is your true energy, and not getting caught up with like environmental energy or other people's energies. Also, because of that, like not tricking yourself into believing that, like, because emotions aren't always like facts. Emotions aren't true. Emotions are situational and perception. Like, you know, you can feel one way 1 minute, but if you choose to feel another way in another minute, you will. Right? You could be feeling sad, but if you choose to feel happy, all of a sudden your emotions will shift to listen, to go and be happy. You could go from crying to laughing. You know, your emotions aren't always truthful. You might feel a certain type of emotion when someone is around you, and you may feel like, oh, that's the truth, but it could be coming from like a traumatic space, a triggered space. It could be coming from any other type of information. And it's not to take away from emotions or feelings. That's not what I'm saying. But having a healthy discernment on your emotion, on your emotional regulation, and connecting with that is what's gonna help you move forward. Because if not, I'm almost seeing this like getting caught up in a spider web of your own disillusionments, of your own self-sabotaging and like tower experience. And also not getting caught up in other people's situations that aren't yours, so that you don't have to go through their experience for them or with them, if it's not for you. I did mention about something like you going through something that wasn't even for you to begin with. So this is kind of going a little bit full circle. Please take what resonates. Be mindful, be the observer. I would say be the observer of your emotions. All right. For some of you, this may be that, you know, maybe you were feeling like you wanted to quit, you know, either drinking or smoking or something like that. And really, like, your circumstances around you just kind of like, maybe they haven't been so helpful towards you. And you're like, yo, I'm really trying and stuff like that. So maybe stepping to a different direction from your environment, so that you can really get back in tune with who you truly are. Or maybe, you know, when you sober, you one way, but when you're drinking or smoking, you another way. And that's what we're talking about, like the trickster spirits, and learning to identify between your emotions, right? Your emotions, as stated, like your emotions can be based on like a memory or something like that of the past, and it may not necessarily give you accurate information on the current circumstances. And so it's really, you have to really be mindful of that, of making like a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion, right? because if you're someone who identifies with your emotions only, this is where all that identifications kind of take you away from your true self. You are bigger than your body. You are bigger than your emotions. You are bigger than your thoughts. So when you start to identify with only those things, I gotta call him back. When you identify with only those things, give me a moment. Let me check the time too. Oh yeah. You begin to disconnect from yourself. All right, and where it says peaceful among thorns, this is also where you know, for some of you, you've learned to, this is either like trauma bonds, right, where you had trauma bonds and you're trying to like separate yourself from trauma bonds, or this could even be you know, where you have found yourself attracting people or situations that's triggering your, hey Haya, triggering you, triggering you from a place of like your traumas or lessons that you haven't learned, so that you can learn to manage your emotions and your psyche, to broaden your horizon. And for some of you, this is also like you've learned to be uncomfortable. I mean, you've learned to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations here. So in a way, that's good, right? You don't let the uncomfortable situations move you, which is great. You stay in your power, in that energy, but you also don't move yourself because you're used to, it's like knowing that you're in a toxic environment and choosing not to move out of that toxic environment because you're used to it, as opposed to you moving from that toxic environment because you know the opportunity that you have that's going to move you forward is in the other side of that door, is in the other side of that threshold. And it's going to take for you to really stop acting like you conflicted or confused and get into your God body. Water signs, I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense. And if it didn't, y'all, please let me know. But that's your reading. All right, y'all, so I'm gonna get into the air signs, and I'm gonna get into the earth signs. Give me one moment. You did fire already? Yes, I did. Fires was actually the first one. I'm gonna put this to a pause, so I'm gonna do part 2 because I have to take a call, and then I'm gonna come right back, y'all. So if you are a air sign or earth sign, or you just want to tune in to what those energies have, I recommend everybody come back for part 2 because we are in Libra season, which is an air sign as well. Please be sure to tap in. So give me just a couple of minutes so I can handle what I have to handle, and I will be back for part 2. All right, y'all. Peace.